Toastmaster Akash, the 50 rupee story. The 50 rupee story, Toastmaster Akash.
Imagine you're casually walking on the street with a group of friends. And as you're walking, you notice a 50 rupee note on the ground. Now the Vijay Mallya in you immediately picks it up. But then, as you turn around, you see your friend staring at you like a hungry pack of wolves. What would you do in this situation? Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. I believe there is a leader within each and every one of us. What it needs is an opportunity to unleash itself. Now, the scenario that I just told you about was based on true events. I was with my group of 4 friends. Let's call them A, B, C and D. And I was the one who found the 50 rupee note. And before I tell you how I dealt with this situation, let me tell you a little bit about my friends. I've known each one of them for over a decade, which means I know them so well that I know what they might say or do next. And so I imagined, if it was them who found the 50 rupee note instead of me, what would they do? What would the leader in them do? Now my first friend, A, does not have any siblings, which means his dictionary does not contain the word sharing. But still, since we are all looking at him like a hungry pack of wolves, he would divide the 50 rupees, but without consulting anyone. Which means he could divide it in equal amounts, unequal amounts, keep a significant portion to himself, expecting that we follow without questioning him. He would make what we call an autocratic leader. A leader who takes decisions independently with little to no input from his teammates. On the other hand, my second friend B is blessed with 7 siblings. That's right, 7. And here's the worst part, he's the youngest one of them all. My poor guy doesn't have any say when it comes to taking decisions at his house. They do not consider his opinions. And so he knows very well how awful it feels to not be heard by someone. And I'm very sure if it was B who found the 50 rupee note, he would consider each one of our opinions before arriving at a single decision. He would make what we call a democratic leader, a leader who involves his entire team in a decision-making process, the exact opposite of autocratic. Now think about this. There's 50 rupees and there's 5 friends, A, B, C, D and myself. The most obvious way of dividing this 50 rupees would be by making sure that each one of us gets 10 rupees, right? But is there a way to make sure that each one of us gets more than 10 rupees? My third friend, C, his dad is a chartered accountant and he's been somewhat successful in passing down the money knowledge onto C. When we were reading Tinkle and the Jungle Book, C was reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And if it was him who found the 50 rupee note, he would say, let's all invest this 50 rupees into something that will multiply and benefit us all. He would make what we call a transformational leader. A leader who is focused on long-term goals and inspires and motivates the team to achieve extraordinary outcomes. Finally, my friend D is pursuing psychology in Bangalore. He's an aspiring therapist, and what he would do in this situation would be very different. He would talk to each one of us personally, assess our needs, verify them, and then allocate the resources accordingly. He would make what we call a coaching leader. This type of leadership requires a lot of patience and high emotional maturity. Understanding your teammates and building trust from within is the key to this leadership. Now, there's the autocratic, the democratic, the transformational, and the coaching leadership. If you were to ask me what I would choose personally, I would say None of these. And the reason I say this is because I have been in my friend's shoes at some point or the other in my life. I've been an autocratic leader when I did not have time to consider my teammates' opinions. I've been a democratic leader when all of us were equals in the team. I've been a transformational leader when I wanted to go above and beyond with my results. And I've been a coaching leader when all of the people in my team meant a lot to me. And all of this made me realize one thing. Different situations demand different leaders. And so I would personally opt what we call a situational leadership. This kind of leader can adapt their approach to the specific contexts and needs of the group. They can mask themselves into any kind of leader depending upon what the situation demands. And so, what did I do with the 50 rupees that I had in my hand? I looked at my friends who stared at me like a hungry pack of wolves, my mind racing with distorted and jumbled thoughts. If I took 5 more seconds, they would have pounced on me and devoured the 50 rupees. But just as I was about to speak, I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned around to see a beautiful tall woman standing in front of me. With a sweet voice, she spoke, "Hey, by any chance, did you find a 50 rupee note down here? I think I might have dropped it." Is this it? "Oh, that must be it. Thank you very much." And she just walked away. I looked at my friends. They had transformed back from wolves to the human species, and I let out a sigh of relief. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe there is a leader within every single one of us. What it needs is an opportunity, a situation to unleash itself. Thank you. Back to the Toastmaster of the day.